please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
You're with us here on a fresh new edition of Mid-Cap Radar. Welcome to the show. I'm Prashant Nair. With me is my colleague Sumaira Abdi. Disruption to regular life in Mumbai, Sumaira. And but the point is, I mean, the market, for its part, is doing just okay. We were up almost about 40, 45 odd points. We are up 25, 26 odd points now. I just want to take very quick stock of the news which is coming at the bottom of the screen. This is with regards to BEML. It came out about 5 minutes back. This is all according to agencies and wires. The government seems to have deferred the divestment of BEML for more due diligence, and look at the way the stock is corrected. BEML went up from 1500, where it spent quite a bit of time, to almost 2000 rupees, and from there it's basically come back to 1500 and selling off a little bit more today after this particular news. But I think the expectation generally was that the government would like to save BEML for the next financial year. With its target of divestment mostly, I mean, in the bag, it doesn't need to do BEML this year. It could do it next financial year. But that basically is just a timing related issue. What the flash here suggests is that this requires more due diligence. Remember, the government in Karnataka had objected, had written to the PMO in this particular regard, and I mean, it's into defense and it's into a couple of other areas. So more due diligence required is what the news is coming in at this point in time. So, good afternoon.
Hi, Prashant. Good afternoon to you as well. So, let's also take stock of what's happening in Europe. I think the opening over there is just mildly higher. The German index actually about 0.3% higher. Importantly, for investors to monitor in the European markets.
The sort of story list today, but let's bring in Ashwini Gujral as always on the top of 130. Ashwini, thanks very much. So 27, 28 points on the Nifty. What do you make of things?
Well, you know, for strength, you should have crossed 10,500. That we haven't been able to cross. Now, while overall, you know, many sectors are positive, broader market seems positive, but I'm a bit unnerved by, you know, Maruti, Bajaj Auto, Motherson Sumi, even HDFC Bank, all of these large and leading stocks facing selling pressure. So the sense is that market is still kind of undecided which way it's headed. But, you know, I think broader market is more vulnerable because of this selling in these large stocks continue. Then, you know, things can turn fairly quickly. So right now, a bit less bullish than the morning. But overall, Larsen is a buy with a stop of 1250, target of 1310. SRF is a sell with a stop of 1950, target of 1875. And DCB is a sell with a stop of 196, target of 184.
All right, Ashwini, thanks very much for your afternoon trades. Well, let's focus on the big stock today. Dr. Reddy's, that stock sulks near the low point of trade after CNBC TV18 gained exclusive access to the establishment inspection report issued to the company's Duvada facility. Ekta Batra, my colleague who got a hand on this report, is now here with the fine print. Ekta, what does this mean for the stock and the company?
Well, yes, we have managed to access the EIR, or the Establishment Inspection Report, which was issued to the company's Duvada facility, the Unit 7 of the Duvada facility, which is basically an injectable unit. Remember that this is now less than 10% of sales, but it is important because there were important filings from this particular plant, and it has been under warning letter since 2015 by the US FDA. It was re-inspected in 2017 of March of 2017. And was issued 13 observations. Now, after that, the EIR was issued by the US FDA in the past 2 to 3 odd months, and the company had come out with a clarification on the exchanges that yes, we have received an EIR for Duvada, but it does not mean that the inspection is closed. So that is one important takeaway from this, that, you know, all EIRs issued does not mean that it is a closure of an inspection. It just means that there is also a synopsis which is provided about what exactly took place in the inspection. So for this particular EIR, it's around 64 odd pages, and what really stood out to me is that a couple of things. I want to highlight the fact that it is continues to be an OAI status, or an official action indicated status, which was issued in 2015, and it continues into 2017 and 2018 as well. So that means that there would be a reinspection which would be needed for this plant, but that is pretty much known. Separately, the US FDA has gone on to say that in the 2017 inspection, there were numerous items which were not corrected from 2015, and there were repeated instances of employees providing false or misleading statements discussed with the management. These employee issues, which are highlighted quite significantly in the EIR, seems to be something which is a key highlight according to all of the experts that I've spoken to as well, where that might in fact, or the remediation needed on that aspect could be something which would be critical for the management in order to basically clear the plant once a reinspection takes place. It also highlights the kind of cultural issues they have at the plant. The management did say that they are currently in the process of solving the employee issues that they have faced at the Dwara plant.
All right, Ekta, thanks very much for that. And now for the big developing story. Statewide bunds have escalated in Maharashtra. Agitations are ongoing across several parts in the state. Our colleague Utkarsh Chaturvedi, who's been getting all the updates from JVLR, which is the link between Jogeshwari in the western suburbs to Vikhroli in the eastern suburbs, now joins in live with the very latest. Hi, Utkarsh. To begin with, I hope you've been safe and you haven't witnessed anything yourself. But what's the latest that you can fill us in on?
So Sumaira, at this point of time, I am at JVLR, and if I can ask my cameraman to really pan, you can see, this is the road which connects the Eastern Express Highway, and JVLR is at the point of time which connects the Western Express Highway and the Eastern Express Highway, and you can see the road is blocked, and not only the road which is going from here to the highway, but if you are moving from the highway also, you cannot really pass that because there are protesters everywhere. In fact, if you speak about at least the eastern suburbs, everywhere you will find protesters in 2 to 3 kilometers, whether it be Vikhroli, whether it be Ghatkopar, even train lines at this point of time are on and off. A while back, protesters had stopped trains at Dadar. We are still waiting for an update from Western Railways on that. So clearly, railway services have been also affected. Talking about the road services, whether it be the Western Express Highway, whether it be Eastern Express Highway, both of them have been affected. In fact, you can see people are waiting here from last 2 to 3 hours. We have people we have spoken to who are there from the last 2 to 3 hours really waiting for this to clear. One update which I got a while back is that the people who are patients and some children have been allowed to go by the protesters and the police. So this is one bit of relief, but we really don't know how long will this jam take, how long will the protesters not allow cars to really pass by from there, and also talking about train services. And this is not the case only with the Eastern Freeway, it is the case across Mumbai in pockets you will see protesters really stopping cars and not allowing traffic to move. We have policemen at this point of time here who are looking at that the whole protest doesn't get violent or any unruly behavior doesn't take place, but they also are really seeming really helpless to let the traffic move freely. We'll keep coming to you with more updates. The only one good thing thankfully which has been is that from the morning there hasn't been any kind of violent protest. No state property yet has been demolished. We haven't really got, because that can really trigger more riots like situation. So thankfully that has not happened. But at this point of time, you can see the roads in Mumbai completely blocked. So we will advise all our viewers to stay put wherever they are, in office or at their homes, and we'll keep coming to you with latest updates on the same.
465 on the Nifty, so right there, 23 odd points higher. One specific group of stocks which is doing very well is fertilizers. I mean, so look at a bunch of these names before I bring in our next guest. Nagarjuna Fertilizer, locked up 20%. You look at something like RCF, largest urea player in the country, 6% higher. Coromandel, again a large player, about 5% higher. You got NFL, which is up 4%. Zuari is up 4%. And I can sort of go on with a bunch of other names as well. But these are some of the top gainers. Madras Fertilizers is also actually jumping up. The last I checked, it was up about 10% or so. Let's ask the management of Madras Fertilizers what really is happening in the sector and at the company. Mr. A.B. Khare is CMD of the company. He's with us on the phone line. Mr. Khare, thanks very much. First, company specific before we talk about the industry, sir. Last that we spoke with you, you had said that you're hopeful of some sort of a relief from the government on account of what you owe to the banks. Could you tell us where
No,
that is
not
at?
to banks,
To the
only
government,
to-
sorry. Yeah.
It is only to government.
Any progress there?
Yeah, it looks they are further discussing among themselves, and they will shortly come out with some results. It will come to us.
And you've learned this from government officials that you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What kind of package? I mean,
No, we are still not knowing what kind of package we will be getting. But we have asked for loan and interest waiver from the government.
Okay. So, I mean, it would be either a part, I mean, you could get it partly or, I mean, fully. But the government will consider what you have proposed,
what we
basically.
have asked is the total interest waiver and total loan waiver, which we have taken in 90s.
And just to jog our memories, what is the outstanding? Just to that you owe?
Around 550 crore of principal and something around 600 crores of interest.
Good afternoon, Mr. Khare. Is it likely that we might see some movement on this front, perhaps in this fiscal itself, or do you think it might be pushed to FY19?
No, I feel it should be faster because progress is faster than what I was expecting.
Okay, so perhaps maybe in Q4?
Yeah, in Q4.
If it were to come in this particular financial year itself, would you be able to avoid a loss this year in 18?
No. Not in 18. Maybe only in 19.
Okay.
And once this comes through, sir, would you then be able to raise fresh capital, and is that something you would look at also?
No, we were supposed to raise some bank loan and not going to market. Only bank loan is supposed to be raised. So once we are in positive net worth company, so our interest rate will go down. That's what we are thinking.
Okay. Sir, so you're saying this for FY18 itself, you're not expecting much of an improvement in terms, even if you were to get this...
approximately same values what it was there in FY17.
But sir, any reason that in, for the first half, your losses are now
first half was very bad, so we could not able to recover whole thing and make it a positive.
So what might we expect for FY18? So at least a bridging of this loss to some extent?
Yeah.
So, would you be in a position to quantify for us what we might, what you can end FY18 with?
Because the quarter 3 number has not come. So once quarter 3 numbers comes, then only I can give you quarter 4 number. Quarter 4 I am having expectation. But I am not having quarter 3 numbers, so I am not unable to give you what is the overall value.
Fair enough. Mr. Khare, okay, away from the company, could you tell us what is happening in the industry? I mean, urea specifically, what are trends looking like?
See, urea sector is, we are supposed to get to 6.5 million kilocalorie energy from April 18. But it looks that it has been postponed to another 2 years. So that is what it looks that everybody will be enjoying a higher energies for next 2 years. So the subsidy will be more. So that is why these stocks are budging for urea.
No, so
and NPK anyway, it based on the international price of raw material, they give subsidy.
Sorry,
based on NBS.
Just to repeat the first point, sir, you're saying stocks are buzzing because of the deferral.
Deferral of another 2 years of energy target of 6.5. So people may be achieving 6.5, but their energy norms are much higher, so they will be getting more for energy saving subsidy. So that's why this is.
But is this
fertilizer stocks are?
But is this confirmed? Or
no, I don't know. This has been declared by fertilizer minister in FAI meeting last month. So I assume that it will happen.
This is happening. Okay, fair enough. There were some reports of shortage of urea in the market, etc. I think last month. I mean, all that is.
Yes, sir. There was some shortage because of much higher demand in the local in Andhra, etc. So those things we are now progressing, and now there may not be a shortage.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Khare, thanks very much. Thanks for talking to us, and appreciate you taking out the time to do that. So Madras Fertilizer, I mean, is up quite a bit. I mean, if you just look at the last 6 months or so, it's done quite a bit. But it's not just that one name. You've got a bunch of other stocks which are up between 5 and 10%.
It's that time of the year when all the attention now turns to North Block. As we count down to the union budget, here's what the Group CFO of L&T, R. Shankaraman, who spoke with us this morning, expects from the Finance Minister on the 1st of February. And there's a lot on the taxation front that he's expecting. Hear him out.
I wish the Finance Minister walks the talk in terms of reducing the corporate tax to 25% to every assessee. If not for the tax rate coming down to 25%, I would expect them at least to look at MAT, because today the rate of MAT is so very close to the rate of effective tax that most of us pay that it ceases to be the benefit that it once was thought to be. And secondly, I think if infrastructure is the way to go forward, I think some of the benefits that are there for investments in infrastructure sector needs to be restored. For example, contractors who build the infrastructure assets are not given the benefit of 80IA, which a developer gets today under the tax regime. Now, these are important tweaks that the Finance Minister can make. Last year, if I remember the numbers right, including railways, about 2.2 lakh crore was allocated, of which about 97,000 crores was for the transportation infrastructure. For sure, the government resources are stretched because of the so many diversions, deviations to the plan that was dished out in last February. But the fact is, if they are able to meet their commitments of 1 lakh crore incrementally, I think we would take a big step forward. My assessment is about 75,000 crores as against the 97,000 crores would get spent this year, and as against 2,21,000 crore, possibly about 1,60,000 crore would get spent.
Okay, so that is the management at L&T with what they'd like to see in the budget document. Look at Fortis. It was up almost at 168 rupees or so. It's corrected 4 odd rupees, 4-5 rupees or so. 164, still up about 6%. 26 points of the Nifty futures premium is also off, but still 22, 23 odd points holding on.